M0FXB, just a quick talk about the DV Mega on the BlueStack board. The BlueStack board is, well, you can see this little box here. That's your DV Mega. On top, you have the sort of BleDV board, which you can actually put on a Raspberry Pi and use the Pi Star system, which I haven't tried yet, but it does work. I know it does. And most people do that. But I've still got this old board here, which you look at the bottom, which is the sort of BlueStack micro. So, and what it does is when the button is in, you can use it on the computer, and when it's out, you can use it on Windows. And it's instead of having a Raspberry Pi basically. And I've noticed that all the download links for the firmware have gone. Now mine seems to be fine. So here's the BleDV system working now, and I'll just show you the settings for it, because a lot of you may have this. So I'll just disconnect, go to menu and go to setup, and I'll just show you the settings. So when you plug it in, it shows up on your device manager, and then you'll find your COM port, which is here, and it's number 10, okay? And so when in settings, you put COM port 10, you put your core sign here, and the important one is over in the middle here. Get your DMR numbers in, as you can see in the middle here. So it seems complicated when you first look at it, because it's covering 3 modes. If you need to have the latest firmware on it, and that's the key thing. That it isn't hard to put the firmware on, but it's finding the firmware, because all the links have broken. Now I've managed to find an old email, so I've got firmware. Now which version you need is another matter. So just going to show you what I've got. So D star here, you can put in, where you want it to go, like Charlie, and default reflector. You can change that to, like you want to put in reflector, like 01C, things like that. So anyway, so at the moment I'm actually setting this up for my Fusion. So Fusion here, location, YSF, you can select one of these, for example CQ UK. You've got FCS here, you can select FCS, Fusion. Brown mice is up here. Now it's not cross mode. Whatever you put in here is what it's going to connect to. So these are the default sort of connections. There's your location there, so you could put in your IO number, I suppose. IO81H, I think is mine, for where you are. And enable at start means when it boots, it will go straight to that, but we're not going to put that. And then you can select CQUK and FCS and things like that. DMR here, and D star here. And there's your frequency. You can only have, well, on this piece of software, it's only one frequency, but I think when you do it on your phone, you can actually select a different frequency. Now, do it on your phone, you want the red button out, and then you can control it on your phone. Download the app BleDV, and I think you can set a different frequency for each mode, but only one mode at a time. So that all seems good. And then if we look at this is like a pamphlet on instructions on how to do the firmware. This is what the board looks like, and how to do the firmware. Now, to do the firmware, you need this thing called an X loader, which when you download it, looks like this. Yeah? So it's like this little square. And in the top section here, you would select your firmware. And I've got all these different firmwares for the DV Mega that I can select. So I have to look into which one is for mine. But as far as I know, mine's running the latest one anyway. But you might recognize these numbers. Look, 306. Now, the one that I do recognize is the one that says here 326. And I'll tell you why I recognize that. That would go like that. And then COM10. And then you would select the correct baud rate. And I think the one for the nano sort of one that I've got is the 328, but I'm not going to swear by it. I'm not going to update mine because I don't need to. So let's show you where we found it. So we initially went to this site here, DV Mega, and it's got all the downloads for the manuals. It's called the X Loader, the little square box that uploads firmware. And I looked down, and which one looks like mine? I would say probably this one here. So look, version 3.26. But when I click it, nothing happens. When I click the uploader, nothing happens. And the manual does work, so Yeah, the manual part did work, but that was it. So on searching, I found this link, which I'll put in the description, Combitronics, and I've clicked here, and the thing that does download is the X loader. So some works and some don't. So here's things about firmware here, but look, it says 3.14, but it's now 3.26. So this doesn't work anyway. Instructions work. Now the X, let's find the X. Got so many file links to here. We're going to find the X loader that did work in a second. Let me just keep looking and I'll find it in a minute. So I will say that the driver does work here. So the USB driver, that I find that did work. You can see here it's downloaded the driver. You need this for it to recognize the DV Mega, otherwise you can't do anything. So that's good. And then what I've also found is that BleDV, here's the driver window coming up now. You just double click that and just run the driver. And the driver's called something like an FTDI COM drivers. There you are. That's quite important because without that you can't do anything. So I've already got it, but we'll just run it anyway. So FTDI CDM drivers finished. So you've got that. Okay. Now I can't find anywhere you can download the firmware, but apart from this place, Passion Radio. So I'll put this link in as well. And it does give an older version of the firmware because I think the newest one is 3.26, which I have got. This is an older one, but at least it's a link that's live and you can use it. And then I'll keep looking for a live link for the new firmware. So, and then this link, I found this page, but none of the links work. Good instructions, I suppose, but no live links. So, now the one that definitely works is Peter's site. So go to, again, I'll put the link in the description, Peter's, and download the 9609 one. That's the one I went for, 9609, and that one will allow your BleDV to get Fusion. And I'll show you what that window looks like when it's up. If I can find it. Too many windows open here. BleDV, where's it gone? It was running just now. I'm sure it's right in front of my face. So there it is there. So look, and that's working, and I shouldn't have two open. So let's just close these down. We don't want to. I'll confuse it. BleDV, there you go, and it's connected, linked to CQ UK, and I can call out now for an audio check. Mic 0, to make sure I'm actually connected. Right, let me just get that connected, one sec. Right, so what we'll do, I'm faffing a bit here, but we'll get BleDV open again, and we'll give a little audio check. Mic 0, Fox X-Ray Bravo, just calling for a quick audio check, M0FXB. Right, you can see the window goes green, and if someone replies, it would go red. So yeah, that's nice and clear, good audio. Let's just get a reply. Well, I did hear him. Right, sorry about that. Yeah, thanks, Terry. All the best. Thanks very much for that. 7-3. Right, we sort of got in there. I wouldn't say it's brilliant. But we did get in there. And you can see the call signs coming in. So, the main point of this video is that the links are broken, and then we're struggling to find ways of uploading the firmware or updating the firmware. So I just thought I'd do this quick video, add a few links, see if people have got any more permanent firmware links for everything all in one place. I'm guessing that things have just moved on, and this is a bit old hack now, but anyway. I noticed that the firmware here has got a weird squiggle there, so I'm not really sure why it did that. I'll turn it off, turn it back on. Could be a just bad link on my USB cable, I'm guessing. It says not linked. So we'll reboot it, but let's just pause it a minute. yeah, so we just had a bad link on my USB cable. So, right, well, we'll end the video. I'm going to put in all the links I've got. BleDV system works well. It's just that the DV Mega BlueStack sort of board seems a bit like outdated now, but I'm still making the video, and I'll put in the links I've got. It's all about getting the firmware, using the X loader to upload the firmware. So the X loader looks like this. You select the file here. The file looks like this. When you've selected the correct one, then you select, depending on your type device. There's a few here, look. I'm not going to tell you which one because you're going to have to look that up. And then you select the correct port, the correct baud rate. So when you go, when you go into the device manager, you can look up the baud rate, and then click upload, and that's it. But if you do anything firmware, you're taking a risk. So only do it if you know what you're doing. So 7.3, all the best.